some kind of way I end up missing this Professor Stephen Beard additional money grab of BG Wealth Sharing. And somebody in the community actually made mention of it, but I hadn't seen it for myself. And then it scrolled across my screen and I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about. So I save you the time from not having to dig through all of the messages inside of the bun chat and get straight to it. That way you're not, lost or having to read through all of the fluff and get straight to what's going on. But I also want to give you some perspective, especially if you migrated over, if you spent any additional money, so you don't continue to spend money. You got to look at it from two different angles. And I want to call a couple of people out on some things. If you're doing this, I don't know if you are, but if you're doing this has to be addressed. So let's get into the message of what I feel is a money grab, and then let's address what I feel needs to be addressed head on. Now, of course, this is the edited version. I told you I didn't want to make this too lengthy. As you can see how short it is. It's not a long, stressed out message, but this has to be a money grab. Part of it, it says, starting tomorrow, the migration plan from the original platform to the new platform, HQIEX, will be implemented as follows. And this was a couple of days ago. It says, first, deposit $100 to activate your account and complete the transfer of funds for your original account. You will then be able to participate in 2 daily Signal trading sessions. This is not only to maintain account activity, but more importantly, to ensure a clear team structure, valid data, and accurate subsequent statistics. That just sounds like some BS fluff. That sounds like some verbiage that somebody will buy into. Oh, it's for the team structure, valid data. What is that? Nothing. So don't just fall victim to wordplay. Second, depositing a cumulative total of $300 will be considered a fully active account. After activation and migration, you will be able to participate in 3 daily trading sessions and will be included in the subsequent team statistics system. So instead of just $100, $300 is very favorable because it gives you a third trade signal by paying a couple $100 more. But this is another money grab. This is what I'm calling a money grab. They're wanting to get a little bit more, allowing people to start with less than what they would originally start with the original BG Wealth Sharing. But now, in order to get a third trade signal, you just pay an extra couple of $100. Mind you, you can't touch it until your money doubles. And that was what it always was. But now with all of the debacle of everything that has come out, money being frozen, things of that nature, how do you feel that you're going to actually get your money back? How do you feel or see BG Wealth Sharing extended beyond the 60-day time frame? I just don't see how you see that. Now, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But let's keep going. It says, and this is the abbreviated version. It said, to address the question B about the $300 deposit, it said, why is it that currently a deposit of $100 is enough to activate a trading account and participate in 2 daily trade signals, while a $300 deposit is required to access the third trading signal? There are 2 reasons. First, we have missed the optimal window for transitioning. If you wish to continue receiving the third trading signal, and in addition to activating your account, you also need to actively participate in team building and market expansion. Before sharing this with friends, please let them understand what BG Wealth Sharing is, what we are doing, and what our future development direction is. So first it was about depositing the $300 to get the third trade signal. But then he went on to mention that a person should be actively participating in team building. Team building equals recruiting, which equals new deposits being made, which is another money grab. And that new money being deposited contributes to the money that they're trying to generate in order to create cash flow for them, since funds are frozen, is what it sounded like for me. Now, could it be paid out to individuals? Maybe. But considering that it's such a new platform and they're wanting everybody's money to double up, it's a chance that it may not end up getting paid out to anyone. It just may be their version of getting or generating more cash flow. And this is what I want to point out. If you migrated over to the new exchange, paid the $100, and you were trying to get yourself in a position to where you can either continue trading or see if you're able to withdraw or transfer your funds over and see if it allows you to withdraw, I ain't mad at that. I get it. I get it. I chose not to do it because I felt like it was a money grab. So I chose not to do it for multiple reasons that I shared on this channel. However, and this is what has to be addressed, if you have been a part of BG Wealth Sharing while we still was using the DSJ exchange, you migrated over to the HQIEX exchange, and you are actively recruiting, team building, then that's a display of your integrity or lack thereof. Because if you know nobody has been able to withdraw on the HQIEX exchange, and people hadn't been able to withdraw from the DSJ exchange for quite some time, but you're still actively recruiting, you should be ashamed of yourself. You shouldn't be actively recruiting, team building, if you have not been able to withdraw. See, I know one thing is, and it's one thing for you to not have been able to withdraw, but you haven't even been able to witness anybody else withdrawing from either exchange. So if you're actively recruiting just to participate in the team building, just to participate on what incentives may be laid out, just to see if you can get some of the big chunks of funds that they laid out for those who deposited large amounts, that's a lack of integrity. So hopefully nobody who's in the community is actively recruiting. If you're sitting back and you migrated your funds and you're trying to see if you can be able to withdraw, I get it. That's, no harm in it. I want you to get some withdrawals. I want you to get, what's yours. I want everybody to be able to tap into some of the funds that was left on their account, even if it's just a principal amount. But to be recruiting, knowing that people haven't been able to withdraw their funds, it's not a good look. And you don't want to operate like that, because I believe that will come back around. If you do something and you know that it could be detrimental to the other individual who invested their money, that's not a way to play the game. Now, I know there are people that do that. It's some people who don't care. People are like, look, first come, first serve. If you get in, as long as I get mine off the top, I don't care about anybody else. And some people probably were willing to do that. They were willing to recruit, knowing that they could possibly get something on the front end, and they're not worried about those who follow. Then that's just a lack of integrity that does not sit well with me. So I just have to put that out there, because if there are people recruiting based on these incentives, not based on your morals, based on your principles, and based on you knowing that this can be something that people can actually get back their initial investment, then I highly suggest you stop. Even if you're doing it in private, not publicly talking about it, I highly recommend that you don't do that. Keep an eye on your account. See if you can get the double up and get the withdrawal, and then of course let us know in the community if you were able to do so. But as far as recruiting, that should not be happening. I'm only addressing that because I know that some of these things can sound favorable. I know that some of these incentives may make a person want to do the extra push to recruit, but people have not been able to withdraw. So you should not be recruiting into anything that is not centered around true trades and people being able to double their money and withdraw without recruiting, and nonetheless recruiting to anything that has not allowed people to withdraw, period. So that's what I had to share with the community, and get that off my chest, because I'm hoping nobody is out here trying to recruit to BG Wealth Sharing after everything that has gone on. Funds have been frozen. People still not able to access their funds that they initially invested, even though on the screen it looks like the money has multiplied and growing, and it may not even be any true trading going on. So I ain't got nothing else to say. I just wanted to address that, because hopefully ain't nobody out here still out here recruiting. That's all I got. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.